Welcome back, everyone, and good morning again. It's time for NTD Health Matters, our very first segment here on the show, and with our very own in-house health expert, Sheridan Genrich. Welcome. This is very exciting.
Thank you, Evelyn.
Well, I'm excited to have you. On this segment, we're going to get some health tips, obviously, and just how to live our best life. So great segment. And today's topic also, it's about work-life balance, the importance of work-life balance, and about the impact of poor work-life balance. So tell me more about that.
Sure. So the research is actually what's so interesting. There's thousands and thousands of studies coming out just even last month, and the work-life balance impact specifically on health is not specific for older people. It could be in their 20s and 30s.
Wow. And
yes, and it's taking decades sometimes for these studies to actually show depression and poor health. I mean, for some of us, it can be much quicker and we know to do something about it. But what if you can't change your job and you can't stop paying your bills? It's not realistic. So self-care is really where I would like to help people focus and see how it's all connected rather than thinking that they've got no choice around the situation.
That's very true, because there's a lot of things outside of our control, like work hours, and I'm saying people that work night shifts or erratic shifts, switch shifts around. So tell me more about what is in our control. How can we help ourselves?
Yes, well, let's say you can't change your work environment at all, but if you can change your excessive stress related to maybe internal stress, that's where I'm going to give you some tips, because excessive stress will lead to poor sleep, and this is the connections that we can see. So poor sleep then impacts your judgment, you're not thinking clearly, you're not able to actually make good decisions, and whichever one of these, whether it affects your mood or it leads to poor habits, these are very easily interrelated, because it's what we can do is actually know that their bad habits are automatic.
Right.
And that's where my tips are going to have us set ourselves up for success.
Awesome.
So that you've got little things prepared rather than waiting until it's too late and you've not thought about it.
Right, and I think that is very relatable, especially when you wake up with that. That's what I had today. I woke up with a case of brain fog, and that probably has something to do. You might tell me in the next, in our next station there, but tell me more about the habits and things that we can, practical things that we can improve in our lives.
Yeah, sure. So the bad habits specifically, I look at hydration and food. So my first tip is actually going to be related to food choices.
All right.
And making the right food choices, because it's a bit like getting into your car with no petrol or gas. So if you've got no gas in your car, then you're not going to be going very far, or it's going to be a much harder road. So here, this is like an ideal plate. You could prep something like this the night before, and it might just be your first meal of the day. I know people are not used to seeing a savory breakfast very often.
In my household back then, as an Asian household, all the time.
Yes, it's so, this is what our ancestors would have really had. More protein, some good healthy fats. The healthy
tell
fats.
me a bit more about what we're actually seeing here on the plate.
Yeah, so what I like to see is half a plate of something fibrous. So either vegetables these are low starch vegetables. So this is going to keep your blood sugar very stable. And when your blood sugar is stable, it's going to keep your energy and your mood stable as well. So the other thing is to notice that the healthy fats are there to help you feel full, and also to make sure that you're actually building your hormones, because all your hormones are built on healthy fats. And your brain chemicals as well, your neurotransmitters need protein. It's not just for muscle development.
Hence the chicken, we have
eggs, yeah. So, and really it would look different if you mixed all this up. This is just to give you the formula, and then you can tailor it. If someone's vegetarian, they could have tofu, maybe a tofu scramble or something like that. And then you put your seasonings this is a cucumber dip. You mix it up how you like. But I know this is something we'd have to prep the night before, probably.
Right, I ran out of the house today. I had 2 pieces of toast with some Nutella.
Yeah, so
is that okay?
Well, I'll give you a better suggestion. It's something super quick, and it's not going to need you to think about it the night before. And even if you were really desperate, you could just add some protein powder to a milk. You know, that can work. Because really what I want people to know is the first meal of the day, we need to break the fast with some protein and a little bit of healthy fats, ideally. So what I have here is some organic oats. This is organic soy, but you could use any type of non-dairy or dairy milk, even if it's organic. And then we've got some whey protein. This is grass-fed with sweetened with stevia. So it's a little bit like having vanilla ice cream, but there's no added things into it. And so different protein powders will have different ingredients. And then we've got almond butter, and you can sweeten it to your liking with extra low sugar fruits. So I'll just show you how easy it is, and if you're willing and feeling brave, we can try it.
Am I getting to eat that?
Yes, I would like to see you actually sample it. So
Here,
that you can...
this is the very first segment. It's already my favorite. This is awesome.
That's
getting
good.
to eat.
Yeah, and making it fast and personalized. So there's no one size fits all. You know, this is just an idea of the formula that I like to teach people. Now, when I'm doing almond butter, I'm putting it in because liquids with liquids is actually far better than putting in something really dry into... I've learned this over many years of making my own experiments, and that's really what this is. You can experiment with it. And you know, this is where if you taste things as you go, you start to learn what you like more, and you know, your family might just want to do things differently. But we've got a scoop of protein powder, and this is like 25 grams of protein, which is quite amazing because 2 eggs is only going to give you 12 grams of protein.
Oh, wow.
And if let's say you've got your body weight is really how you determine how much protein you need per day. And I'm just going to give this a really good mix because...
So I tend to make things sweet, but you probably wouldn't. People sometimes raise an eyebrow if I add my sugar.
Yeah, well, sugar actually, I've noticed since being in America that like sugar is actually better than some of the other sweeteners they're adding to the foods.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, when I see a product that's only got sugar, I'm actually really pleased because ironically the high fructose corn syrup and the corn syrup as well as liquid sugars that they're adding to all our products, I really want people to like just read the labels really well because there's not just sugar anymore. They're putting other things into our foods.
What are the red flags?
Oh gosh, high fructose corn syrup would be one, and genetically modified corn syrup would be the second one, and they are actually different. So we can go over these things later on in the segment.
Okay, but this is good to know, to just look at the back, and when you see that, probably not a good choice.
Read your labels. Yeah, there you go. If you're feeling brave, test it out.
It's my pleasure.
You can see it's super fast to make. Okay. And starting with really good ingredients is the key to success as well.
This is really good. Excuse me.
Yeah. It's the vanilla protein powder does make it already quite sweet.
It does. It does.
Yeah. So, and then if you feel really well, what I'm trying to do is look for hormone balance, because if you're staying pretty calm and handling your work pressure during the day, what that's going to do is set you up for a good sleep. And some people have such a high stress day that then they wonder why it takes them a while to break down and calm down into, you know, relaxing for sleep. So this is my second tip. Yes.
This is getting better and better. All right.
We're not looking at just more hours. We're looking at quality in everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do we improve that? Like I said, I don't think I had a great quality of sleep this morning or tonight. What should I do better?
So the first thing I would look at is the screens. So this is a habit that many of us have. I have to really change my routines up.
Yeah.
And it's about a ritual. So a lot of us are just repeating things that we've either seen our family repeat, or we're just on autopilot at the end of the day. So it does take time, but experiment with these. The reason the screens are very impactful is for hormones. Cortisol is your getting going active energy during the day. That's your it's your stress hormone, but you want a little bit of stress in your day, otherwise you don't get out of bed.
Makes sense. Okay.
But the melatonin starts to rise when the sun goes down, and that is your sleep hormone. And when you have these devices too close to bed, what it's doing is blocking that hormone from rising and peaking. So you may still fall asleep, but whether you stay asleep is another thing. But the screen habits, maybe looking at it, reading a book beforehand would be really good.
So what about, I like to scroll, but I put my night mode on.
Yeah, the night mode is better than nothing, but there are amber glasses which block the blue light even more than night mode. That's one option, but you're still getting stimulus for the brain, and the brain is really how we fall asleep. It regulates our hormones of hunger as well. And so it's just a little habit that I think there's other things we could look at doing. I've put the second recommendation around the sleep ritual is the 3 hours before sleep to avoid especially cardio exercise. One of my favorites is actually to recommend though is meditation. So let's say instead of looking at your device, you're able to replace that with half an hour or 15 minutes of meditation before bed. And then, or even some stretching. If you're not ready for meditation, you might just want to do something that's reading like completely away, listening to music, listening to a podcast, but something where your eyes are not being stimulated before you go to sleep.
And things that don't get your heart rate going, am I understanding you correctly? Okay.
Yes, you want to be calm and feeling safe. That's when the body is most going to sleep best. It's really about getting that rhythm and connected to nature. So the other one I really recommend is keeping your body temperature cooler. And that's where keeping the room cool is one aspect, but the other aspect might be having a shower that's a little bit on the warmer side. And it might seem strange, but what your body will do is soon after entering into a cooler room, the body temperature drop will be a little bit more drastic. So you'll fall asleep faster.
Oh, that's very interesting. I was always wondering why there's people that like to sleep with an open window in the winter, but that explains it all. It is cozy.
Yes, keeping your body cool, because when you're hot, your body's going to wake you up and say it's not that comfortable.
Okay.
The other thing with keeping the room cool, let's say you and your partner, you and your husband like to have different temperatures. I know men tend to like it very, very cool sometimes.
Yes.
And women I've recommended over the years have needed a heavy blanket or a weighted blanket. So you could kind of have the temperature same, but the weighted blanket will also give you deeper sleep and more pressure.
Yeah, these are nice. So just before I let you go and before we go and take our own nap, let me just ask you let's apply it, right? As maybe I read in your book, you are a sensitive person. So how would you shape your nighttime ritual?
Yeah, I look at the time and knowing what time I want to go to bed, and I work backwards from there. So let's say my ideal is around 10:30, 10 o'clock. I wake up very early. I'm an early riser. Okay. So we all have to know, it just depends what your schedule is. But when I was doing shift work and international travel for years, and I had to adjust my sleep schedule. But I'd always look at what time I want to be in bed and work back from there. So these tips are around, tailoring it to your schedule, but knowing that that wind down isn't like a light switch. So keeping I do have a shower every night before I go to bed. It's just a habit, but also looking at the temperature, a fan if you don't have AC, and also not eating too close to bed. But if you're hungry as well, you don't want to be. Your blood sugar will drop, and that will make you wake up as well. So, but this personalizing it, and my favorite thing is just to say experiment, because this is really where your body will give you feedback within a few weeks.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because of course we're all different types of people with different life situations, and different things might work for us, but I think we have a lot to work with now, and we can just go back home and experiment. I know I'm definitely going to do that. Thank you so much, Sheridan. I really appreciated that. All right, I think this is a great point to wrap up our very first segment of NTD Health Matters, and I'm going to kick you guys out now for a quick break, but we'll be right back with more, so stay with us.